Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Radco. I'm James Alvarado. Today is a review of Sweet Cobra's new record, Earth. This record was released digitally through Magic Bullet Records last Friday and comes out on vinyl this Friday, the 24th. The record was produced by Kurt Ballou of Converge and Matt Talbot of Hum. That's a pretty heavy pedigree right there. Sweet Cobra is Bocce Vasquez on bass and vocals, Robert Lanham Jr. on guitars, and Jason Grigowski on drums. This will be the fourth full length from the band. Their first two records, Praise and Forever, are just some really furious, pummeling, sludge-infused hardcore with some really great grooves thrown in the mix. On their second release, Forever, you saw a little bit of the band's propensity for melody and hooks with the vocals, rather than just coming from the guitars and the drums. You saw the band explore that even further on their most recent release, Mercy, with the songs Silvered, Matriarch, Reinhold London. I love that record. It gets played all the time in this house. You've got the tracks Crusader, Brux, the title track Mercy. I can go on and on about that one, but we're here today for Earth. And the reason I talked a little bit about their past leanings towards melody is that there's a ton of it here. The vocals have stepped up quite a bit on this record. There's just lots of sung melodic passages all throughout this record. The band explores so many more influences on Earth. It's sprawling, and while that might make it seem to lack cohesiveness, it all gets tied together really well by the lyrics and the themes on this record. The heavy down-tuned guitar, the driving drums, and the frenetic aspects of the band's sound, they're all still here. There's just so much more. The first track here is called Far Too Temp. From the get-go, you get the band's familiar, raw, powerful sound, and the song really showcases the crisp production on this record. There's no muddiness to it like the band had a tendency to get on some of their previous work. Vasquez's vocals are as expected until you get to a really big, sweet chorus. And as lyrics go, this song is an obvious acknowledgement to the struggle they had after the loss of their band member Matt Arluck to cancer. The sneaking survivor's guilt, the sense of duty to carry on. There's a line here, shield the candle, carry on the flame. I feel like the song serves as a statement for where the band's headspace is going into this record, as well as a retrospective on where they were when we last saw them active. The song closes with Vasquez screaming "far too temporary" over some really barbaric instrumentation. Then we get the track Future Ghosts, where Far Too Temp was an introspective look at the band. I feel like this song is addressing us, the listener. The context of it seems to come from a bitter place, but the track also acknowledges the band and the subject's mutual need for each other. The song is also infectious. It was one of the first singles released before this record came out. Later on, you get the tracks Complaints and Flight Risk. Complaints is one of my favorite tracks here, and it's also a pretty big departure from their previous sound. You've got some keys in the intro and some really infectious vocals that remind me more of 80s pop or even some post-punk like Interpol. Vasquez's voice sounds great here, and you still get some really nice drum sounds, and the bass sounds really great just as it did on the previous track He Tall He. Overall, I really like the way they treated the bass on this record. The track Flight Risk opens up with one of my favorite riffs on the record. It's an ugly, gross groove that sounds like it could have come off of an early CKY record. The guitar work is great on this one, and it's also one of the heaviest tracks on the record to me, which also makes it one of my favorites. The next four tracks on the album see the band allowing their pop sensibilities to come forward quite a bit. The first of those, Sunburned Suns, as well as a few other tracks on this record, have the band sounding a little bit like Queens of the Stone Age, but that's not a bad thing, especially when there's so many more aspects of the band's sound to explore on this record. Halfway through this track, the band ends up breaking to a super heavy riff that has the drums changing the rhythm behind it. All of this is under a really haunting vocal performance from Vasquez. Towards the end of the track, the band breaks into a really nice groove under some really high-flying, heroic-sounding vocals. Tired and useless, but slaves no more, they remain. Then you got the track Repo. This track has old 80s indie pop and dream pop all over it. It's reminiscent of The Cure a little bit, and maybe even U2, although I hesitate to say that as I can't really stand that band. Stiff Fits has some upbeat guitar and bass, reminiscent of Torch or Water Tank's work. The vocals keep the same approach they had on Repo, and it winds up sounding just really happy, poppy, triumphant sounding. When you take a look at the lyrics, it maybe seems like it might be a little bit of a love song, but once again here, the band acknowledges their stubbornness, and I think that winds up being one of the main themes across this record. The narrator's stubbornness, inability to quit, and potential guilt that they feel over that. Later on in the album, you get the aptly titled Old Haunts, which sounds like it could have come off of Mercy or even Forever. Both this song and Complaints appeared on a split that the band did with Get Rad, and the mixing and mastering on this record does wonders for the both of them. The sound of this song is appropriate for the lyrics here, referring to the band getting back in the saddle for this record. You've got the line, 3 old friends, pack up essentials and head for the road, eat up the blacktop. The final track, Walls, is also the longest track. It closes us out on some straight up dream pop and shoegaze sounds, and it's a fitting closure that reaffirms the band's position on this thing. The whole record sees the band giving itself a poetic and sentimental look at where the band and its members have been, where it's going, and evaluating the value of it all. So I'll acknowledge their inability to quit with my inability to stop loving their music. I'm sorry I tried not to do it, I just had to. I'm giving this thing a 9. It may not be their most cohesive record, but it is their most consistent. Almost every track on this thing is killer, and there's so many sounds explored on it, so many influences shown, that there's just so much to chew on that's going to warrant many return listens to it. I love it. What did you guys think of it? Let me know in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share this video. You can reach us at radco on almost all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can email me at contact@radcompany.com. Check out radcompany.com where we've got more content going up daily. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Thanks.